Hi, I'm Ren Ferguson from Gibson, Montana. I'm here to tell you about a great program that we've started. It's been in the talking stage for a number of years. We've partnered with Wildwood to create the New Vintage series of guitars. What we've done is we've selected, at Steve's request, a number of instruments that could be recreated based on the information and the learning curve of the last, well, in some cases, 50 years or more. We've taken what we call vintage characteristics and we've put them into guitar with modern manufacturing practices, blended that together with original specs and materials to produce instruments that we believe will be instruments of legends to come. We have guitars in this series in different ranges of materials. We have different levels of appointments. We have modified the recipe to enhance the instrument. The recipe that we're using for these guitars is the basic mix of the best tone with the finest tones that we can find, coupled together with tried and true traditions of manufacturing with playability of today's demanding artist. This guitar is our variation on the J45. This guitar, is kind of referred to as the workhorse of the industry. J45 is sort of where everybody begins and ends. They'll own all the rest of them. We've got a 185 from the early 50s that we've brought back and reissued in this case. We have a Southern Jumbo, legendary guitar. A Hummingbird, a true icon in the industry. And of course the Super Jumbo, this being kind of the refined edition of the 50s instrument, again brought to the modern player of today. The offering of the new Wildwood vintage guitars, new vintage guitars, all have some things in common. All have the top braces, all have hide glue. We'll talk about hide glue in the future a little bit so you'll all understand what makes it work and why we think it's important. They all have a aged bone nut and saddle. What we've done at every level is try to embody the characteristics of sound that we all look for. We've done that by taking instruments that are the very best examples and finding the commonality of those instruments. The features are less important than the sum total of the instrument, but the common ingredients are critical. All these instruments will have things in common, but they're individually built to replicate a particular piece of history and future that we're trying to provide. We have the HG series, which is all hide glue. The entire guitar is made in a traditional manner as guitars were made back in the 20s, 30s, early 40s. I've examined lots of Gibsons that had polyvinyl glues used in the 1950s along with the use of hide glue in the same guitar. So as tradition and materials changed over time, instruments changed. There were reasons that sounds changed with different model shapes, and it wasn't just that the shape changed, that there were a new ingredient either added or taken away. In the Exotic series, we've taken the same successful recipe, and what we've done is we've added a higher grade of materials to the mix so that we have something so that a customer that already owns what he feels is the best J45 in the world, he already bought a new vintage J45, he could, if he chose to, buy a Southern Jumbo, which is kind of its big brother, but he could buy an Exotic series, which would have hand-selected rosewood, something that I picked out in India myself. Exotic wood, we'll talk a little bit about what makes wood work from our perspective. We've given everything we can to Wildwood to provide you with a guitar that'll meet your expectations and maybe excite you to play more. This is about music.